Hey, friend, Graham here from recordingrevolution.com. Before we do anything else, can I just say, man, you are awesome. Because of you, we just hit 500,000 subscribers. That's crazy. 500,000 subscribers to this channel. It's blown me away. This whole thing started just about a decade ago, posting some random videos on how to record and mix music. In fact, my very first blog post on what was originally my freelance site was all about how to start your home studio for only $500. And that was almost 10 years ago. Now we can start a home studio for less than $300, and it sounds better than the one from 10 years ago that cost $500. We were living in a crazy time, and at the end of this video, to celebrate properly, I'm going to be giving away $2,500 worth of free gear. Yes, that's right. 5 lucky people will be winning $500 worth of free gear on me, plus another big goodie coming at the end of this video. So stay tuned to find out how you can be entered to win free stuff in honor of us hitting 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. Now, I thought to celebrate 500,000 subscribers, I would share with you 5 of my biggest recording and mixing tips. If you followed me for a decade, you've probably heard these some way, shape, or form, but I would collect them all here, hopefully to inspire you and encourage you as you're making music this week, this month, this year. So in no particular order, number 1, nothing you do in the studio matters if it doesn't have emotion. Now, tell that to a not super emotional guy like me, and I go, yeah, you know what matters? Gear. You know what matters? Strategy. You know what matters? EQ curves. But I've had to learn the hard way that I can have a perfectly polished, perfectly arranged song that lacks any depth or emotion, either from the performance. Let's say the musicians are just sort of phoning it in or just technically correct, but there's no vibe, which is really hard to quantify. I get that. That's why it's called vibe. Or whether it's the singer who doesn't sing beyond just the words on the page, or maybe the words that you're singing, if you are the singer, don't connote very much emotion. A lot of times, the songs we're recording and mixing just aren't good songs. They're just not. And so all of the technical prowess and all of the gear and all of the strategy for crafting a radio-ready song, which is what I'm here to help you do, is meaningless if the song isn't good and if the song doesn't move the listener in some way. Now, it can move the listener by being a romantic song. It could be a heartbreaking song. It could be a funny song. It could be a party song that just makes people happy. The emotion doesn't matter as much as the fact that the song connects with another human being and has that emotional bond, causes them to feel something. So the tip for you is, before you actually sit down to record a song for your own music, for a client, make sure that the song is worthy of recording. Make sure that the lyrics, the vocal performance is actually something you can imagine really connecting with an audience. If it isn't, and it's just kind of okay, why are we spending our time to record it? Now, if it's client work and this pays the bills, there's that fine line of, hey, take the work that you can get sometimes because you need to pay the bills, but maybe it means you need to work with better clients and up your game. You are in control of that, my friend. Go out, find better people to work with. But if it's just your own music, then you can at least stop and say, hey, is this song really worthy of recording? Do I need to just focus on getting better at songwriting? A lot of what I hear when I'm critiquing students' mixes are good mixes, but bad songs. So there's no emotion, there's no connection. So maybe go back to the songwriting phase and work on that part of your craft. And then when it comes to actually performing in the studio, make sure that you actually perform with emotion. My buddy Ill Factor, super talented producer out of Miami, when he coaches vocalists in his studio, he will not allow them to read the lyrics off a sheet of paper. He will not allow them to read the lyrics off their phone. They need to have the lyrics memorized. Now, you would assume it's their own song. They should have it memorized, but a lot of times they're writing new songs in the studio that day. He will not record a vocal performance unless they have the lyric memorized. Why? Because when it's memorized, they can just think about the song and what it means. They're not reading. They're not interacting with a sheet of paper, and instead they're just delivering what's already in their head. And that is how you get a more connected performance. So work on that. Deliver more emotion. It'll come through. I would rather have a song with more emotion, more impact, more power more vibe from the performance and the artists, and it'd be less quality in terms of recording quality, a cheaper microphone, a cheaper interface, than having the most expensive rig, the most beautiful vocal chain, the most beautiful console in terms of sonic capability, and having a flat, emotionless performance. Emotion is what your fans care about, not sonic quality. If you can get that order right, you'll churn out better songs. Tip number 2, the recording is more important than the mixing phase. Oh my gosh, recording is king. Recording is where the magic happens. I know we love mixing. I love mixing. I have a lot of mixing tips because that's where so many people get stuck with questions. But we're all assuming that you've got a good recording. It doesn't matter how good of a mixer you are or how many amazing mixing tools you have. It is really hard to turn a lackluster recording into a stellar mix. It might be fun for you, like a fun challenge, like how can I make this crappy recording sound amazing? And I kind of get that in a weird way. But that's not the goal. That's not actually the model. The best songs you've ever heard out there, your favorite mix engineers that are mixing the stuff you love, what are they working on? They're working on really good recordings that were delivered to them by really good recording engineers. So they have really good starting material. I'm not trying to take anything away from their skill. I'm just saying the best way to get a good mix is to have a good recording. So you really need to focus on the recording. This involves a few different things. Let me give you some big wins on the recording phase. Number 1, use the right microphone and put it in the right place. There's 2 main types of microphones. There's a few different, but dynamic and condenser are your 2 go-to microphone types. I don't care about brand. I don't care about price as much as I care about the type. A dynamic microphone is typically what you see on stage when you're singing or plugged in front of a guitar amp or a drum set. These type of mics can handle very loud signals, very loud SPLs. So they're great for stuff that's like screaming rock and roll, loud guitar amps, a snare drum, you name it. If you want more delicate clarity and nuance in the recording, let's say for a vocal or an acoustic guitar or even cymbals on the drum overheads, then a condenser microphone might make more sense. But these rules can be broken. I've used SM57 dynamic microphones on my acoustic guitar and on my vocals. I've used condensers on piano. I've used dynamics on piano. You can do anything, but just try the right mic and see what it sounds like on the source. If you have 2 microphones, that's okay. If that's all you have is 2, just try one and then try the other. What sounds better to you? Go with that microphone. And then where do you place it? When it comes to vocals, so many of us eat the microphone because we're used to live performance where they want you to get right up on the mic. No, don't do that in the studio. When you're right up on a cardioid microphone, which most of ours are cardioid mic polar patterns, it creates a big bass boost, which makes you sound beefy and muddy, and then you're having to clean that up in the mix phase. So back up 6 inches to a foot away from the microphone. You'll have a more natural tone in terms of EQ. And also, the closer you are to the microphone, every little sway of the head creates a massive volume change inside of your DAW. It's called the inverse square rule. So you can move an inch to the right, and it'll be a massive volume change. But if you're a foot away from the microphone, that same inch to the right of movement while you're having emotion while you perform is a minimal volume change. So if you want more consistent volumes on your vocal performances, back up from the mic. Acoustic guitars, a classic technique is to put the microphone a foot away from the guitar on the sound hole, angled at the 12th fret. Classic technique, works so well to get a nice balance of the acoustic guitar. But the idea here is choose the right mic and then put it in the right place. Don't just leave it in the first place you put it. Put it somewhere, record a bit, listen back, and go, does this sound good or no? You decide. If it doesn't sound good, doesn't sound like what you hear in the room, move it. Take your time and move it to the right spot. Even angling a microphone can make a world of difference. Another important tip for you when you're recording, especially in the digital domain, is please don't record so hot. Please don't record so loud. Everyone's looking at that clip light and they're like, okay, as long as it doesn't clip, I'm good. I want to get as close to it as possible, but don't clip. Don't do that. It's bad advice, okay? There is nothing to be gained by recording loud inside of a digital workstation. You're not fighting a noise floor of analog tape or a console. You have a super clean system. So there's nothing that you lose by recording a nice medium range signal level, which in my mind means look at your meter in your software when you're grabbing your interface's knob to turn up or down the microphone. Look for it to peak about 50% of the way up the meter to 75% of the way up the meter. That's the range of where it's peaking. You don't want to get close to clipping. You don't gain anything. In fact, you have a chance of losing so much because the moment you hit the clip light or get to the very top, you're going to get a little bit of digital distortion. It just doesn't sound good, and you could ruin a great performance. So you gain nothing by recording hot, and you have a lot to lose. So don't record hot. In summary, take your time when you record. It is the most important thing you could ever do for your songs to sound the way you want them to sound. Tip number 3, when you are mixing and it's time to mix, focus on taking away rather than adding. Mentally, a lot of times when we mix, we think about what can I add to this song to make it sound awesome? What kind of effect can I add? What kind of volume can I add? What kind of delay can I add? Distortion. We're always thinking about plugins as something that we add. I don't want you to think that way. I want you to think the opposite way. What can I take away to make my recording sound better? Because in truth, when you record any kind of microphone in any kind of studio, small, big, treated, not treated, is capturing way more frequencies than you need, right? You're gonna have so many tracks fighting against each other, trying to take up sonic real estate. The way you get clarity, the way you get balance so you can hear everything well, is to remove the frequencies that don't add to the signal, that might even be making the signal sound worse, and that frees up space for other tracks to sit. So really, it's all about removing. Think about mixing like you would make a statue. You don't make a statue by taking clay or stone or bronze and taping it or gluing it to each other until you have a statue, right? You start with one block of whatever it is. Let's say stone or marble. You got one marble slab or one marble block. How do you create a statue? You chip away to reveal the art underneath. It's the exact same with mixing. That's why I'm a huge proponent of what we call subtractive EQ, focusing on taking away frequencies instead of boosting. It's not that you can't boost. I boost. It's not that you can't add effects. I add effects. It's that your job is primarily to take away, to remove the bad stuff and reveal the best stuff. You'll have more clarity, more headroom. Your mix will come together faster, and you won't be adding stuff on top of stuff and just creating a mess. 2 other bonus tips when it comes to mixing: mix in mono. Fold your entire mix into mono when you make your EQ and compression decisions. This is so important. It's one of the easiest hacks you can use to create a better sounding mix. Why mono? Because it makes it harder to hear everything. When you've got things in stereo, you can go, oh, I hear that keyboard, it's over there. And I hear that guitar because it's over there. That's true, but you don't know if the frequencies are actually in the right spot. When you overlap them and you can't use the cheating of pan, now can you hear that guitar and that piano and the vocals and the drums and everything else? If you can't, it reveals that there's EQ frequency masking. There's things covering up other things. So your goal is to make everything sound clear and audible and beautiful in mono, because then you'll know that the EQ will hold up, and then panning is just icing on the cake. And second bonus tip, please reference professional tracks. You and I would be foolish to mix a song without referencing a professional mix for 2 reasons. One, none of us really know what a good mix sounds like. We think we do, but our memory is actually worse than it is. We remember things we like about a song, but it's not until we listen to it in that moment that we remember the details of, oh, that bass was a lot quieter than I thought. Oh, those drums are a lot louder than I remembered. Oh, there's more reverb on his vocal than I thought. Oh, that reverb is actually a little more of a plate reverb, not a hall. We forget the details. So flipping to a reference just actually better educates us on what we actually think we like, or it reminds us of what we thought we like is wrong. So reference for that reason, but more importantly, all of us are working in home studios. All of us are working in some kind of imperfect space. Even the best space out there has weird EQ situations. Even the best studios I've been in, the monitors are on top of a bridge on a console, and it's bouncing off the console. And so you're getting weird reflections even in a treated space. So I don't trust any room. So because I don't trust a room, I can't trust my ears in that room. So what do I need? I need a reference so I can play back that reference and go, okay, I know this song is good everywhere in the world. So what does it sound like here? Very bass heavy. Well, then I'll make my mix very bass heavy, because I bet there's something in this room that's making everything bass heavy. So I need my mix to match a professional mix in this room if it's going to sound good out in the real world. Super helpful tip. It will change the game for you. Tip number 4 is less of a tip and more of a truth and an encouragement. You probably won't sound good in the beginning. Most of us suck at this when we start. That's probably how you found me. You are on YouTube or on Google and you're frustrated. How do I make my track sound like blah? How do I get vocals to do this? What the heck is a compressor? And you found me. I know. I've been there, hence why I started this 10 years ago. This art form is simple to understand, hard to master. But that is true of so many art forms and so many crafts that we apply ourselves to. You cannot expect to get good at violin in a few lessons or even 1 year, right? You cannot expect to be a great gymnast having gone to a class 2 days a week for 6 months. You need years of doing this to become good at anything you apply yourself to. It's the same with recording and mixing. So don't assume that everyone else has got it figured out and you don't. If they're sounding good, it's because they have years under their belt. Now, some of us are quicker learners than others. I figured that out. A lot of you are smarter than me, faster learners than I ever was. But beyond that, we're all in the same boat. So your early stuff won't sound good, and that's okay. But here's 2 encouragements for you. 1, don't try to perfect what you got. The way to get better isn't to take that one song you've been working on or that one album you've been working on for the last 20 years and just perfecting it. You're afraid to release it because it doesn't sound good, so you want to make it perfect before you release it. Don't do that. Don't do that. 1, it's never going to get to the level you want it to be at. And I'm just going to tell you that straight up. I'm never 100% happy with what I release. So you won't actually get to perfect. That's a moving target. 2, the way you actually get better is to complete projects, release them out in the world, and move on to the next project. Now, people don't like to hear that because they want their first project to be perfect. But guess what? You'll write better songs. You'll arrange better songs. You'll record better songs next time. So move on to the next thing and release. Go ugly early is what I always say. Put your stuff out. If it's not good, don't worry about it. Your next thing will be better. Your next thing will be better. And you can delete the stuff later, but finish a project, get it out there. You will improve. Remember, Ira Glass famously said, most people who want to do great work, they quit when they get to that point where they're frustrated. It doesn't sound like what they hear in their head, and they quit. When everyone who's done great work has gotten past that part of quitting. They've gotten to that part where they've just done a huge body of work, and that's the only difference maker is a large body of work, and that takes years. So hang in there. And tip number 5, no single plugin or piece of gear will help you in your sonic journey as much as getting started right now. I know gear is fun. Trust me, I got into this because I liked the gear, okay? I know that third-party plugins are amazing and can sound great. I own a bunch of them and they're fine. And I know that there's a lot of new stuff coming out every single year. I go to NAMM every year and I see the new stuff. But please believe me when I say that the way to make really, really good songs is to learn the fundamentals and then practice them over and over again. When I have people say, Graham, why aren't you teaching more advanced stuff on your channel? I'm going to go elsewhere to look for more advanced stuff. I kind of laugh in my heart because I know that there is no advanced stuff that they truly need. What they need is the same basic stuff that we've been doing as audio engineers for 50, 60 years, but they need to practice it. No magical sidechain compression technique is going to make your mix awesome if you just suck at mixing. You just need to learn how to mix and practice like the last point. So please don't wait until you got the right gear. Don't wait until your studio set up just the right way. Just get started today. And I like to give challenges for myself and for you on this channel a lot, not as a way to be weird, but as a way to prove a point that sometimes you need a little push, little motivation just to get started. So you could say, okay, Graham, I'm going to challenge myself to make an entire song with just one USB microphone. Or I'm going to challenge myself to record and mix and produce an entire song on my Mac with GarageBand, which came free with my computer. Or you could be crazy like me and make an entire song on your iPhone with no other equipment. Whatever it is, do something to get started today and practice the fundamentals. That's all that matters. Are you writing a good song? Are you recording well? Are you subtracting stuff when you're mixing? Are you committed to the long game of getting good over time? And are you starting right now? You see how they all work together. I love this craft because even a guy like me can get good at this if I just put in the reps. And it's the same with you. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, a couple weeks ago, we hit 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. And to celebrate, 5 lucky people are going to win a $500 gift card to Sweetwater so you can buy whatever gear you want. Now, here's how it works. For the next few days, anyone who joins my exclusive VIP community is going to get a free month of VIP if you're not a current member for 30 days, right? Free 30 days to be a part of the community. And then everyone who's a member of VIP is going to be entered to win one of the 5 $500 gift cards. And like I said, I'm giving away 5 of these, so you got a really good chance of winning. Now, if you don't know what VIP is, this is my exclusive private members community. It's a global network of musicians and engineers like you. Every single month, we're in there posting our mixes, sharing our stuff, getting feedback, connecting, networking with other people. If you need a singer to be on your song, if you need a bass player to be on your song, if you have questions about a certain piece of gear, everyone's helping each other. I'm taking all of these people, these 500,000 subscribers, and we're connecting a lot of them in a private area together. On top of that, there are bonus courses inside from industry experts like Rick Barker, who's Taylor Swift's original manager, on promoting your music as an artist. I've got Grammy-nominated producer Ill Factor teaching how to arrange and produce music. I've got multi-platinum songwriter Martin Sutton teaching you how to write songs. I've got custom courses and tutorials on Ableton, Pro Tools, Logic, Studio One, whatever you use inside of here. And then every single month, I'm doing live Q&As with you, answering your questions, having conversations. And then what VIP really excels at is it's like the digital equivalent of having this music network that you might have had if you were in audio school or if you're deep in the music industry. Because I know a lot of you are all by yourself in your hometown, in your city, in the country, in your audio cave like I'm in right now, and you're not connected to a music network. Recording Revolution VIP brings us all together so that you're not alone. You can get feedback, you can expand your network, you can get connections and get opportunities, and all the free training and the live Q&As. We do giveaways every month as well. It's amazing. So I want to give you a chance to try it for free for 30 days. So if nothing else, come hang out with us for 30 days and see if you like it. I think you're going to love it. We've got thousands of students just like you inside there every single month. And you'll be entered to win one of the 5 $500 gift cards. And here's what you got to do to claim your free month of VIP and be entered to win the $500 gift card. Just go to recordingrevolution.com/VIP. Put the link here in the video. It's in the description also below, recordingrevolution.com/VIP. Come join us. You'll be entered to win. And I hope to see you inside the community. And I hope you're one of the winners. I want to buy you some free stuff. That way, you don't have to feel guilty about buying stuff when Graham says don't buy stuff, because I'll buy it for you. Thanks for the support. Thanks for helping me reach this milestone of 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. Never thought it would happen. Blown away by the support. Means a lot. And I hope to see you inside of VIP.